EHCPs and the statutory process. This video will cover what is an Education Health and Care Plan, EHCP, what is an Education Health and Care, EHC, needs assessment, who can request an EHCP, and the EHCP process and timeline. What is an EHCP? EHCP stands for Education Health and Care Plan. It is a legal document for children and young people aged 0 to 25 who may need more support than a mainstream school or college can usually offer through standard SEND support and the graduated approach. It describes their special educational needs and the support required to meet them. Local authorities have a legal duty to make sure that all the support and services written into a final plan are provided. The formal diagnosis of a condition or disability is not a requirement for a plan to be issued. An EHCP is the result of a legal process carried out by the local authority. That begins with a request for assessment. This is known as an Education, Health and Care, or EHC, needs assessment. What is an EHC needs assessment? An EHC needs assessment is a closer look at a child or young person's special educational needs. It helps the local authority to understand what they might need to help them learn and make progress, and whether this needs to be arranged through an EHCP. It involves gathering detailed information from parents or carers, the child or young person, the school or educational setting, an educational psychologist, health and social care professionals, and any other relevant people. The role of an educational psychologist. As part of the assessment, the local authority will ask an educational psychologist, or EP, to write a report to help build a clear picture of the child's needs. An EP is a specialist who looks at how children learn, think, and behave, and can provide advice on the support that might help them. They will try to understand the strengths and challenges. They may speak with parents or carers, the child if appropriate, school staff, and other professionals. They may ask to observe the child or young person and conduct some assessments, but this does not always happen. Who can request an assessment? Parents or carers, a young person aged between 16 and 25, a person acting on behalf of a school or post-16 institution. Parents, carers and young people aged 16 or over have the right to request an EHC needs assessment directly from the local authority. Agreement from the school or college is not required to make this request. If the educational setting or another professional makes the request, then the local authority must still contact the parent, carer or young person to request their views, information and evidence. EHC needs assessment statutory timeline. Although the law sets out a 20-week timeline for completing an EHC needs assessment and issuing an EHCP, many areas are currently experiencing delays due to high demand nationally. For the latest updates on timescales from Leeds City Council, you can visit www.leeds.gov.uk and search EHCP, or www.leedslocaloffer.org.uk and search Send Inclusion Transformations. Weeks 1 to 6, Assessment Request and Decision. The local authority has 6 weeks from the date an EHC needs assessment request is received to decide whether to carry it out. If the decision is to proceed, the formal assessment process begins. If the decision is not to assess, they must provide the reasons for this decision and information about the right to appeal to the SEND tribunal. Alternatively, a new request for assessment could be made that includes additional or new information or evidence. Weeks 6 to 16, EHC needs assessment takes place. The local authority then has 6 weeks to request and gather relevant information and advice to help them to understand the child or young person's needs and the support required. Week 16, EHCP decision. By week 16, the local authority reviews all gathered evidence and decides whether to issue an EHCP. If the local authority refuses to issue a plan, they must provide the reasons for this decision and provide information about their right to appeal to the SEND tribunal. A new assessment request can be made after 6 months. Weeks 16 to 20, draft EHCP and consultations. If an EHCP is agreed, the local authority will issue a draft version of the plan and allow parties 15 days to read through it, request any changes and suggest any suitable schools or settings. Potential schools or settings will also receive a copy of the draft plan and be asked to confirm whether they can offer a place. By week 20, final EHCP is issued.
By week 20 of the process, the local authority must issue a final version of the plan. The final plan is a legal document and the local authority must make sure that all of the support and services written in it are provided. Usually, the local authority asks the school or setting named in the plan to take responsibility for delivering that support.
Further SEND information and advice on a wide range of topics is available on our website. Visit www.leadscendias.co.uk. On social media, search Leeds Sendias.
Other sources of information, advice and support. Contact for families with disabled children, www.contact.org.uk. Independent Provider of Special Educational Advice, also known as EHCP, www.ipsi.org.uk. Leeds Local Offer, www.leedslocaloffer.org.uk. West Yorkshire Children's Additional Needs Network, www.westyorkshirecan.org. Council for Disabled Children, www.councilfordisabledchildren.org.uk.
Other videos in this series include requesting an EHC needs assessment and draft EHCPs and final plans.